Hmm, I don't usually judge competitions like this, but the producers wanted a face the cameras could love and one the audience could trust. Bikini Supermodel Clara, poolside at magic hour. Who could say no to that? The sun was a warm hand on my skin, my red bikini catching its last light, chiffon robe dancing in the breeze. Around me, men and women, strangers turned competitors, circled the open buffet like predators. Silver trays piled high, glasses sweating with champagne, the air heavy with grilled meats, sugar, and ambition. The kind of scene that pretends to be fun, until it isn't. I smiled for the cameras, but inside, I was already reading the room. Some were here for the prize. Others I suspected for something far darker. Then it happened. The reigning champion, a mountain of a man, went rigid mid-bite. His fork clattered against the plate, his eyes bulging as his breath failed. He stumbled, knocking over a chair, and fell straight into the pool with a splash that silenced every whisper. Instinct. I was already in the water, chiffon floating like blood in the blue, my hands gripping his shoulders. But he was heavy. Too heavy. My muscles strained, water dragging us both down. Then I saw it. His lips darkening, pupils blown wide. This wasn't just indulgence. This was poison. And the chill running down my spine had nothing to do with the water. Someone had turned this feast into a trap. And whether I liked it or not, I was already part of the menu. The night had an entirely different texture. The sunlit chaos of the pool was replaced by stillness, and with it came the smell of chlorine and something far less innocent, the memory of a man dying in my arms. The guests had scattered quickly after the medics carried him away, retreating to their rooms or slipping out into the city. I stayed. I always stay. Because when someone dies in front of me, I don't walk away. I want to know why. I replayed the scene in my head. His face going slack, the sudden loss of breath, the way his lips darkened. Everyone else thought it was overeating, the simple end of a reckless game. But I've seen gluttony before, and it doesn't work that fast. No, this was deliberate. Something in the food. Something meant to kill, not entertain. That meant someone was willing to turn the entire competition into a murder stage. Back in my hotel room, I peeled off the wet bikini and let the chiffon robe slide to the floor. I needed to change, but not into something comfortable. Into something calculated. I chose the hot short jeans, cut so high they looked painted on from behind, and a white underboob crop top that left very little to imagination. Clothing is a language, and tonight I needed mine to say, approachable enough to be bait, confident enough to be dangerous. I brushed my hair, letting it fall loose over my shoulders, and took one last look at my reflection before stepping out. The hotel bar was warm and amber-lit, filled with the low hum of jazz from a hidden speaker. A few scattered guests were nursing drinks, their eyes drifting toward the muted television above the counter. But there was one man who wasn't watching the screen. He was watching me. Older, mid-60s, with silver hair neatly combed back and a gray suit that looked too precise for casual travel. His gaze wasn't soft or curious. It was clinical. The kind of look you give a problem you've already solved in your head. He didn't flinch when I met his eyes. He wanted me to see him looking. I walked to the bar and ordered a drink I had no intention of finishing, feeling his attention track my every movement. I gave him 10 minutes. Then I left, walking slowly toward the elevators. I could hear his footsteps behind me before I saw him in the reflection of the darkened window near the lift. He was following at a measured pace, not hurried, not trying to hide. That told me he wasn't afraid of being seen. I passed my floor without stopping and made my way toward the service corridor. He took the bait. I slipped through a half-open door and down a narrow staircase that smelled of metal and stale air. The lighting changed from the warm gold of the lobby to the harsh white of the basement. That's when I saw it. An industrial chamber that didn't belong in any hotel. A row of heavy steel restraints bolted to a padded chair, feeding tubes coiled like snakes, mechanical arms fitted with clamps and dispensers. Next to it, A long stainless steel table covered in platters of food, desserts oozing with syrup, meat glistening under heat lamps, bowls of thick cream. It wasn't a dining setup. It was a weapon. The old man moved with practiced ease, adjusting controls on a panel, checking the angles of the restraints as if rehearsing for a performance. And in that moment, I understood. This was his experiment, and the competition was his field test. The man who died at the pool wasn't the first. If I didn't stop him, he wouldn't be the last.